Hi, everybody. This is Todd Krieger. And today I'm have a video for you, a talk for you that is titled Creating a Safe Place to Heal Trauma. Now, what I mean by this is a safe place for you to heal your trauma. This is not, I know I talk a lot about couples. This is not about how you could help somebody else have a safe place, but how to create a safe place for yourself to heal trauma. I thought that was an important process. I could talk about some of those things another time, but that is what this is about. So, what do I mean by creating a safe place? A safe place is a place where you feel open to exploring. When a person is full of self judgment and a person is full of self loathing, or a person is stuck in terror, it's very difficult to, of course, create a safe place. So that's what this is about. Now, I acknowledge that it takes a lot of courage to face trauma. I work with people who've been traumatized, thousands and thousands of times, and I am inspired by the people that reach out for me. And whether you're working with a therapist or at the moment you're not, even though I do think that if you are dealing with something like post-traumatic stress, it probably is a good idea to have a professional such as myself. But either way, there's certain things you're going to need to do to help you facilitate that healing of the trauma. And like I said, creating a safe place, a place where it's safe to explore, a place where it's safe to investigate, a place where it's safe to feel your feelings. So when I say a safe place, we're talking about, of course, physically, you need a safe place. I have never been able to help someone, for example, who's been traumatized when the trauma is continuing in the present time. For example, a person who's been traumatized by an abusive partner, but still in the relationship and the partner's still abusing them. I mean, here you are not safe. And so there has to be a safe place. I have to begin right there. Another example, since I do a lot of work, as many of you might already know, with infidelity, if a person is continuing to have secrets and hold back and do those same behaviors that they did before when they were having the secret of infidelity, then you are still not safe and you're not in a physically safe place to heal from that trauma because the elements of that trauma are still continuing. So you want to create a safe place physically. Now, a safe place emotionally is a place where you are able to, and I'm going to connect it with a few things here. You connect to either be by yourself or with others where it's safe to feel. It's safe to be vulnerable, safe to not hide. And so that's the most important thing to create a safe place emotionally is one where you feel free to experience, to explore, and to express what's going on with you in your body. Because trauma is held in the body. And there are all kinds of defense mechanisms that people have to not feel. So we want to create that safe place so that you can at least begin that process of feeling your feelings, investigating what you're experiencing so that you can process them. Because the truth is that how we heal from trauma is through processing. And we only can process when we feel safe. And so there's psychological safety, there's emotional safety, and then lastly, there's psychological safety. It's related to emotional safety, but it's where you feel accepting of you, like you will not turn against you. Again, this video is about you, and this talk is about you being able to create a safe place for you to heal. So even though it's nice to have other people to be kind to you, it starts with you. And to create a safe place psychologically, it's really very important for you to have self-compassion. And that's something that I definitely will address here with you. Before I do that, I want to briefly address the nervous system and trauma responses. And I could tell you that the common ones that we hear is fight, flight, or freeze. There's also fawn. Fight or flight is usually when we're in movement. Our defense is to move, either to fight, yell, scream, or to withdraw, run from the situation. Now, again, sometimes that's very appropriate, and that's a good thing. The sympathetic nervous system that's responsible for the fight or flight response, we need it because sometimes we're truly in danger. And that's why it's so important for you to get out of any unsafe current situations so that you can deal with trauma that's happened in the past, even the recent past. So the fight or flight. The freeze response comes from the vagus nerve. I don't want to get too much into it, but the vagus nerve is a long nerve that starts from the brainstem, goes all the way down through the body to the small intestines, and affects a lot of the organs. And when a person freezes, it's the probably the oldest and most archaic way of dealing with threat. These are all ways of dealing with threat, and the nervous system will just shut down or dissociate from the experience, and it's not conscious. So you don't want to blame yourself for these kinds of responses. You just want to make sure that you don't judge yourself for any of those things. And then the last one I mentioned was fawn. Fawn is when you try to appease and please and adapt. So these are all ways the nervous system can cope with feeling threat. And so what we really want to do is create a sense of internal safety. Because when we create a sense of internal safety, well, I'll just say this: when we freeze, it's the dorsal part of our vagus nerve that gets activated. But when we feel safe enough, when we feel threatened or stressed in some way, we have the capacity to reach out to others, to let others be a part of our healing. And we only can do that when we feel safe. That's when the ventral part of the vagus nerve gets activated. Again, I'm not going to get too much into it, but basically the most advanced way of dealing with stress and threat is when we can just feel safe enough to regulate with other people, to let them be there for us, which is going to be a very important part of what you need to do. But let me start with internal safety. So you need to have a safe space. And some of the best, easiest, quickest ways to do that is to just breathe, to practice breathing and exhaling and quieting your mind. You might imagine yourself breathing in deep into the belly. I have the image of breathing into a balloon. You breathe, you make the body, when you blow up a balloon, you blow up the body of the balloon, not the neck. You want to breathe deep into your belly and then exhale all the way out before you breathe in again. Very simple relaxation breath. The other breath exercise that I'll mention is the 2-to-1 ratio breath, where you exhale twice as long as you inhale. So you can breathe into a count of 2, exhale 4, 3, 6, 4, 8. Just do it slow. And this is all about grounding and self-connection. You need self-connection in order to feel safe enough to begin healing from trauma. So the breathing, the feeling, your belly, your heart, but also, I mentioned this earlier, self-compassion. You want to encourage compassionate internal dialogue. Examples might be, may I be kind to myself right now? May I be accepting of whatever I'm feeling right now? May I just let myself be right now? So I like the positive phrases. You could say, may I let go of obeying my inner critic, but I'd actually rather you focus on that part of you that is already there, that needs a little practice, that's loving and compassionate. So that internal safety is very important. Now, in terms of external, you want to create the right environment to do some of this healing work. You might want to, if you're doing that, make sure things aren't too bright. Just kind of dim the lights. You want to have maybe comfort objects with you. Sometimes something that symbolizes safety. We know everyone's different. For some people, certain colors evoke calmness. Kind of universally, it's known that blue can be a calming color as opposed to red, but whatever works for you. You want to just slow down, shut off all media. It's all part of creating the right environment. And then also choose the people who feel emotionally safe to be around. This is something you could do by yourself, maybe journal. And as you're connecting, you're creating that internal sense of safety and that external sense of that environment of safety. But sometimes also choosing others who feel emotionally safe to be around. And there are times when you might need to seek solitude and not be with community, where you just need to connect with yourself. And there's times when you might intuitively go, I need someone to help me with this, or I need support right now. Do your best, I will say, to create some healthy boundaries too. Say no to what re traumatizes you or drains you. Think about places to avoid, even some thought streams to pull yourself back from, and say yes to practices and people that nourish you. To me, that's what boundaries are: saying no to things that are not nurturing, saying yes to things that are. And the other important part, as you continue to create this internal safety, breathing, self compassion, slowing down, the external safety, spending some time with yourself, journaling. You also might need to, I would be irresponsible if I didn't say this, reaching out to a therapist such as myself, support groups. There are many podcasts, books, apps, tools. Remember that needing support is a sign of strength. We all need support. And part of creating your own sense of safety is realizing you can't do this alone. So, my final thoughts here are to let you know that no matter what your critical voice might be saying, no matter any shame that you may have been holding on to, you are worthy of a safe space internally and externally. Also, healing is not a straight line. It's okay to take your time, realize that sometimes you start to feel like, wow, I'm starting to feel better. And then something comes up. Maybe you get triggered, and that's normal. Be kind to yourself. Taking small, consistent steps matter more than perfection. So, again, let me just take the last part of this to just do a simple, very quick 1 minute or less grounding exercise for you. What I want you to do is imagine, right now, wherever you're sitting or laying down or even standing, Just feel your feet on the floor and be grounded. What I mean by that is imagine that there are roots coming from your soles of your feet deep into the soles of the earth. Like you're a large oak tree that has the roots that go deep into the earth so that even if a storm comes, you might be bending, but you don't break. Just feel that anchoring in you. And then take several 2-to-1 breaths. Breathe in to a count of 3 and out to a count of 6. I'll do that right now with you. And exhale to a count of 6. Inhale to a count of 3. Exhale to a count of 6. And then really immerse yourself in the phrases, may I be kind to myself right now. May I 100% accept myself no matter what's going on, no matter what I am experiencing right now. So do that. And lastly, just see yourself with a supportive person or people. Hopefully, you have an image of those people. If you don't, you could think of anybody that is not in your life that you would imagine would be safe. Just imagine reaching out and being supported and indulge in that safe experience. And you can continue doing this even after this talk is concluded if you want to sit in that space as you continue to create an internal and external environment of safety. So thank you so much for listening. This is Todd Krieger, making the world safe for love.